which they
never alone. You are never alone. Just reach into your heart and Allah is always there. You are never alone. You are never alone. Through sorrow and through grief, through happiness and peace, you are never alone.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, how are you? This is Huda's TV's new program, Family Issues, and you're more than welcome in my home. This is my home. And I'm your counselor, your family counselor, Dr. Ihab Eid, your host. So you are more than welcome in this program. And I wish that both me and you, be so frank and overt. Open your hearts and open your ears in order to speak frankly about all our problems in our family, our members of our family, kids, my wife, your son, everyone in the family should join us in order to reach the best efficiency of performance in our families. Actually, of course, it's our pleasure to meet you all in this program to speak about everything that is related to family issues, family problems, family needs, family hopes, psychological problems, organic problems that faces everyone in our family, the bonds between the child and the mother or the child and the parent. These are called the subsystems. We want to tackle if there is any problem in your family system or the subsystems. I mean by this the bonds between a parent and his child, a wife and her husband, and so on. Also, we want to speak about the ways to increase our qualities of lives, because nowadays, all time, all day long, there are problems with the development of the world. Problems are increasing by all means and by many types of problems. Actually, nowadays we are facing, here in Cairo, for example, the revolution, and this is a drastic change in the community, which is reflected on the family and on everyone in the family. By the way, let me first tell you our telephone and how to communicate with us through the emails. Our telephone is 00202, this is the code of Cairo, 38555-248 or 249. Again, I can tell it to you, 00202 38555-248 or 249. About the email of our program, it's family issues, one word, family issues, @huda.tv. It will appear on the screen before you. Now, back to the ideas or the topics of this series of episodes about the family. All our aim in this family or in this program, or the goals of our program, is to help you to know how to modify and to develop your family better. Actually, they say that the story is just some sort of management. How are you a good manager in your home to manage the problems? Even the romantic relation between the spouses. If you are not having good management skills, actually this romance will end and it will fall. So please, we want to concentrate in all these series and specifically in this episode about the problems that face us and how to resist them, the taboos that you should not enter or commit in order to save your family and protect your family. Actually, this very special episode to begin with is very important because we want actually to speak about, as I have said, the family crisis intervention and interaction. Whatever type of crisis, we are having with us an eminent guest, and promise in all our series, in all the episodes, we are going to have very eminent guests speaking about family issues. For example, today with us is going to be, in the next part of this program, Professor Dr. Mustafa Ragab. He is the Professor of Community and Environmental Medicine and the ex-head of Environmental Medicine Department. And nowadays he is the General Manager of the Unit of Health and Environmental Health Assessment. This doesn't mean that the whole program is going to be related to one axis or to one topic, but there is a main topic. Maybe this series or this episode is going to be specifically focusing and concentrating on the crisis interaction and the crisis intervention skills and how a father can train his children and the wife train herself to be ready to face any problem or any crisis that faces the family. However, in all the next series, we are going to have mixtures of so many things that are related to family. For example, what are the best types of foods that we can feed our children? My son is having problem with, he's wetting himself. He is all the time afraid. He is phobic. He is suspecting all the time things that are not true, and so on. We are going to deal and discuss, inshallah, all these topics in our program. As you see, in our program, we are at home. Therefore, one of the episodes, for example, we are going to meet in a dining room. In another one, we are going to meet to look from the balcony and to speak about our aims and our ethics to teach our children how, for example, to do when they are looking from the window or looking from the balcony, how to deal with your father, how to deal with your mother, increasing, the human skills and the human development skills. Actually, by the way, for example, in this series, I want to speak to you about a very important part before we go into the main topic. That's what usually so many scientists and so many people call the brain foods. Brain foods. These foods are, nowadays when you go on the net or in the TV or read books about brain foods, you are going to understand that science nowadays, and medicine specifically, and those who are specialized in nutrition, are focusing on how to increase the power of the brain, how to boost the brain, how to increase the span of thinking and attention of children and of adults, and so on. Therefore, I find that speaking today about brain foods is very important. Maybe in the next episode I'll bring to you some examples of this in one of the dishes. But maybe today I want to tell you something about this just as a start. Brain foods are mainly meant to be given to children. Better, or as a start, to start with a child and an adolescent who is building himself and his organs are starting to build up. You have to give him some of these brain foods, and if you give it to them in a regular way, on daily basis. For example, could you believe that popcorn is a brain food? Maybe this seems to be astonishing, but actually it's true. Popcorn is like, a brick in the building of the brain. So if, for example, you give your son every Saturday a dish or a box of popcorn, you are putting a brick every week in the brain of your child. So after a year or more, the myelination of the nerves, which are the main units or compartments making the whole brain or the whole central nervous system, are going to be developed rapidly and more. For example, what's called sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes and everything that contains yellow pigment like carrots, like pumpkins, like the egg yolk, or all these yellow components of foods are full of what's called beta-carotene. This is a pigment that's very important for increasing and modifying the short-term memory and increasing, by the way, the intelligence and the maturation of the brain cells. So, did you think about something like this? To feed your child every Sunday some fruits of, or vegetables of, I don't know, it's a vegetable or fruit, but because, you know, it's very, we have to ask those specialized in agriculture. But anyway, sweet potatoes are very important sources of beta-carotene and of omega-3 and omega-6 too, which is very important. By describing omega-3 and omega-6, which are very, very, very important components of brain cells, you have, of course, to remember okra, and to remember, as I said, pumpkins, to remember some of the other types of foods like seafoods, all seafoods like fishes and tunas and shrimps. All these foods are full of omega-3 and omega-6, which is the main brick in the myelin sheath, which covers the axons of the nerves. Also, the cashew and the walnuts are great sources of this. So if you think anyway about this, you can make a weekly menu plan for your child. For example, Saturday I'm going to give him some sort of seafoods. On Sunday I'm going to give him cashew. It's very easy, and I think this is not a very complicated meal, you know. By the way, also other sources of this is what we call in Egypt the folkloric foods like beans and falafel. Beans and falafel. Unfortunately, so many people here think that these are not sources at all of intelligence for anyone. They are maybe sources of something else, something difficult, something different, or the opposite exactly. You know, they say that when you eat these things, you lose concentration, you are getting down, not up in intelligence, but this is actually not true. If you read the books, if you visit the websites, you're going to find that ful and falafel are very important sources of proteins, which are very important types of proteins to the brain cells, and consequently, it means that you are going to be a builder, a great builder for your son's brain by these very simple foods. In addition, dates and honey, both of them usually are described in sunnah and in religious conversations and writings, but actually, really, they are very great sources of vitamins and metals like zinc and iron, which are very important components of brain cells. They are very important to boost the brain and to give energy to the brain. Could you imagine, or could you understand that yellow lentils are called in some places the brain kumbu? Could you believe this? Lentils are called the brain kumbu. It means a complete diet for brain cells. You know the kumbu, when you buy something, you buy a sandwich and a Pepsi and potatoes, fried potatoes or fries. This is like this kumbu. So if you give your son just once weekly yellow lentils, for example, you are putting not one brick, you are putting 3 or 4 bricks to build the brain of your son. By the way, you know, one of the aims of this program is not to be raising your children in a haphazard way. You have to be a good planner. You have to make a policy. You have to make a policy what to feed him. You have to make a policy how to let him think. You have to put a policy what type of study he's going to study. You have to put a policy how his eyes, what his eyes are going to see at home. Maybe the way we wear our clothes, the way we speak together, the way we eat, the way we tidy our rooms and beds. Everything you do in front of your child is going to be a lesson to teach him. So maybe these are some words or some ideas about what I'm thinking and I'm planning to tell you in these series about family issues and family problems. Actually, about coming back again, about speaking about family crisis, You know what's meant family crisis? This means problems that face a family, but not any problem. Problems that are very powerful to the degree that it may cause confusion. When you face a situation, a shocky situation, you have to prepare yourself how to deal with it. So, for example, the death of someone you love, the loss of a great deal of money, the change in the system of your country, as happened here in Egypt, what happened, and so on. Natural disasters, as I've said before. So this and other things are going to be dealt with in our episode and in the next two partitions of this program with our guest. So please, I want you to focus with us very highly, because these, in my mind, to my mind, are very important issues, and therefore we started the first episode, again as I said, with this topic, because when you think in emergencies, when you think in things that are so strong and so powerful to threat the system of the family, and you could deal with it in a good way, in this case you are going to deal good in any other type of things. Okay, anyway, thank you, and we'll meet in the next partition. To the break.
You are never alone. You are never alone.
You have questions that bother you. What about issues of concern to you? Would you like to share things on your mind with us? Are you interested in solutions based on an Islamic perspective? Please join me live in Meet Your Advisor every Friday at 9 p.m. Mecca time, here on Huda TV.
Tomorrow on Huda.
Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty. So is it logical to say all plastic surgeries are lawful in Islam to bring or to regain beauty? It is very misleading questions. Need a very accurate and firm answers. Let us set up the rules and principles to cover all plastic surgeries in Islamic law. How Islam does legalize niqab or veil factor in our modern life? Is it fair to suggest that it is more cultural than it is Islamic? I would rather to answer these questions by just suggesting very shocking fact about niqab. Are you ready for that? How Islam does legalize polygamy, when Islam always says that respect natural instinct and natural feelings, and knowing that not a single woman does accept anyone to share her in her kingdom. All what you have said is true. But is there any difference between your natural instinct and your natural desires, or maybe between your interest or what you wish to have, or maybe your interest and other interest? Is it true that anything came after the Prophet ﷺ regarding this deen to be considered as a bid'ah, innovation? It's neither this nor that. It seems very well complicated and confusing to many Muslims, especially when it comes to the saying of the Prophet ﷺ, وَكُلَّ مُحْدَثَةٍ بِدْعَةٍ, and Sayyidina Umar saying, نعمة البدعة هذه. Let us set up
You are never alone. You are never alone.
Welcome back. We are on air with our first episode of our program, family issues. And as we have said, the title of this episode is a very specific one. It's Family and Crisis, or how to intervene with a crisis when you are in the family. And let me firstly welcome our eminent guest, Professor Dr. Mustafa Rajab. He is the professor of environmental medical medicine, and he is the ex-head of the sector of environmental medicine in the Institute of Postgraduate Studies of Environment in Ain Shams University, and the general manager of the unit of health and environmental health risks assessment. Is it true, right?
Yeah, risk
Okay.
assessment, yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It's, of course, our pleasure to meet you, Dr. Mustafa, and we want to ask you about, you've heard about the issue of the crisis, and nowadays, actually, it's so many crises around us, and we are very worried and full of questions about the family and how they are going to deal with different types of crisis. But first, let me ask you, can we put a definition for the crisis? What's meant by a crisis?
Generally, a crisis is a sudden, unexpected situation
Yes.
where the management itself it need an urgent management. So I don't know if we can apply this on a family exactly to reach to a crisis, but let me start by definition of what's meant by hazard and risk.
Yes, okay. Is
So
there is a
I have
difference
the-
between a hazard and
yes,
risk?
Yes,
Yes, please.
I have to identify what kind of hazards are there in my family,
Yes.
and then to decrease or to deal with each of these hazards.
Yes.
Hazard is what you can call a bad reputation name.
Okay.
Just like, what's your opinion about scorpion,
Yes.
cancer?
Yes. Yes.
What about apple?
This is
It's
a different
good.
impression. Yes.
So the word itself means something harmful.
Something
I don't,
harmful,
I
yes.
don't like it.
Yes.
Risk is the probability of exposure to such hazard.
Yes. Yes.
So I have to differentiate or to identify what kind of hazard, which I will mention now.
So they are not different degrees. They are different types.
No,
Yes.
they are
yes.
completely.
Completely different. Yes.
Just like if I'm sitting here and I know there is a scorpion here.
Yes.
This is very hazardous.
Hazardous. Yes.
But this scorpion is completely trapped.
Yeah.
So probability of exposure to it is zero.
Zero.
So if you
Risk.
multiply
Yes.
the zero by the hazard, which is maybe 10,
Yeah.
so the result
zero.
will be zero.
Yes. Yes.
So first I have to differentiate of the various hazards which is there, and
Yeah.
then to try to play on the part of probability
Yes.
to decrease the risk.
Yes. Yes.
As a matter of fact, there is 5 big groups.
Yeah. I just wanted really to ask you about the types of the hazards and risks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to explain
Yes.
now. First, there is what we can call communicable group.
Yeah.
Communication is that this kind of hazard can be transmitted from one to another, either directly or through what we call a vector.
Yes.
Like, for example, escapes.
Yes.
This is an itchy, this is a parasitic infestation, which is characterized by very
Actually,
severe
I'm
itchy.
speaking about medical hazards specifically, or
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will mention other
types of risk.
hazards
Okay,
after
okay.
that. But I'm speaking. This is actually mostly are diseases which we know.
Yeah.
All kind of
All kinds of diseases.
AIDS, TB, whatever you mean.
yes.
The other is, of course, but because we started by communicable, there is non-communicable.
Non-communicable diseases. Yes.
Such as if I have cancer,
Yes.
I can't communicate it to you.
Yeah.
So it is restricted to the person himself.
Yes.
Third group, and this is of course representing a wide variety of hazards, which I think it will take a lot of our discussion after that, because it includes pollution, different type of pollutant, carcinogenic, toxic material, chemicals, physical exposure, which include for example,
waves or
radiation,
radiations,
non-ionizing,
Yeah.
like this earpiece which you are putting in your ear,
Yes.
it gives you some
It
radiation
actually
too.
causes radiation. And
Yeah, sure.
Of course.
Like my mobile, which is sitting in my pocket here,
Yeah.
it radiates to my. So non-ionizing radiation is one of the hazards which are present in our, and it's we are swimming in such
Yeah.
waves, as I always say.
That's good, but excuse me, just let me remind our viewers that our telephone, because we want them to join us, our telephone numbers are 002 02 38 555 248 or 249. I say it again, 002 02 38 555 248 and 249. And our email, the program's email, is familyissues, one word, @huda.tv. So we are waiting to hear our viewers to join us about the topic family and the crisis. Please, I'm sorry for interruption.
Okay. Third group is what we call nutritional group.
Yes.
This was before it will include only deficiency intake of certain material like vitamin deficiency, like iron deficiency, anemia, this kind of deficiency
All
in your
types of
food.
deficiencies, yes.
But now there is a variety of effects due to related to food in preparation, in what we call food additives, which is of course giving to our children. They are replacing their normal meals by such additives.
The
Food
junk
additives.
foods and
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, we did a lot of work for that. For example, junk food, as you mentioned, it contains a good amount of estrogen, which is a female hormone.
Female hormone, yes.
So this can be correlated to the sterility of males,
males,
which is
yes.
a very obvious complaint now. And we did finish a study that this also can be a cause of sterility in female, in women.
Really?
Yeah, there is a very famous disease which is called polycystic ovary.
Polycystic ovary.
Yeah,
yes.
the ovary is
By the
unable
way,
to produce this ovum.
you
This is
remind
because
me-
of junk food you mentioned.
By junk food. You remind me, Dr. Mustafa, with I want to ask you just a question. What's the difference between something like estrogen and anti-androgens? Some people said that some of the foods nowadays, as you have said, are full of what's called anti-androgens. This is also another hazardous or risk?
Androgen is the male
Yes, the
sex
male
hormone.
Yeah.
It is testosterone.
Yes.
And estrogen is the female. They are the same, almost the same. I don't want to give deep in this,
Okay, okay, it's all right.
because,
But let me first have this call from Noha from Egypt. Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, Noha?
Fine, thank you.
Please.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, of course. Go on.
I have a 4-year-old child. He cries every day since these events began.
Yeah.
He refuses to sleep alone. I don't know what can I do.
He refuses to keep alone?
Yes,
sleep
yes,
alone?
To sleep alone, yes.
He sleeps with you?
Yes, every day.
Every
since
day?
these events began.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any other questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Noha. Well, Dr. Mustafa.
Okay, let us
Please.
cut short for this.
Yes, please.
Because any complaining of your children, especially in that age, is referring to you. Because I always tell my patients that describe your children with things you want to be with them. So every time a woman come or a mother come and ask that my child never eat, nobody.
Yes, all the time.
All the time
All
they
the
are
time this
complaining
is
of
the story.
such
Yes, yes.
I told her, please, in front of him, he is understanding, even if he's 3 or 4 years old, he can understand very good what you are going to. So don't describe him that he don't like to do so. He don't like, no, mention the opposite.
Yes.
If he
Even if it is not happening?
If it's not happening,
He's
or
not
he's
sleeping with-
eating everything,
Okay.
I can't afford this type of meals. He always eat. He always
And
finishes.
he's not eating?
He is not eating. Because he feel he is important.
Yes.
When he is not eating, so the woman or the mother tell the others about this complaint, and so he is very famous now.
Yeah, yes.
If he start to be eating, so she will not mention this.
Okay,
But she mentioned this because
To apply this for this rule for the no
he
health
don't
problem?
like to sleep with me.
Yeah.
He's a big man now.
Really, that's
Yeah, try this.
Yes. Okay.
Any complaint.
Noha, please try what Dr. Mustafa told you. This is a good
and tell me
advice.
the result.
Yes, and tell us the result, and we'll transfer it to Dr. Mustafa. Okay, we are mentioning you have said about the materials in the food and the, yeah.
You did mention something about sweet potato.
Yes, sweet potatoes. Yes.
As a matter of fact, is very good. Yes, but we have two main, not disaster, but risks in it.
Really?
Yeah. First, the preparation itself.
Yeah.
If it is fried, like always, like chips or something like that.
Yes.
So you know that, especially if it's old oil.
Yes.
When you boil this oil, there is some very harmful substance called polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons. These are hydrocarbons which are giving this smell of fries.
Yes.
This also, anything you can fry it. This is carcinogenic to the liver.
Carcinogenic?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Also, all carbohydrate, not sweet potato only, but all carbohydrate when they are...
but actually, sweet potatoes are grilled. They are not fried. Sweet potatoes. But
if they are grilled, if they are burned, whatever that, that's burned, there is a substance called acrylamides.
Acrylamides, okay.
These substances are proved 5 years ago to be highly carcinogenic also.
Oh my goodness.
So preparation of it.
So what's the solution? We're not going to grill the sweet.
Boil it.
Boil it?
Yeah.
Okay, this is new. Those with the carts, those having sweet potatoes in the streets, and they are selling them to people in the cart. Is this is?
I don't want to frighten. We are eating such sweet potato, and we like it, and our children like it.
Very delicious, really.
It's a probability. That's what I mean. Okay. This is hazard. If you take it as it is, it is carcinogenic. This is very frightful.
Yes.
But what about is this probability is 10%, 5%. Yeah. So it will decrease now. But don't make it so frequent.
Yes.
So you will know this is harmful to your health.
Yeah.
Try to avoid.
Okay. By the way, heating bread on the butagas.
All carbohydrate.
All carbohydrate.
All carbohydrate. You imagine.
This is dangerous. Carcinogenic.
This is carcinogenic.
Okay.
But it is. I don't want to go through this, but it is carcinogenic class C, which is probably carcinogenic, not human carcinogen.
Yeah.
So this is about. There is a lot of food which are now come to the top of the list, especially as a hazard. Also,
other types of hazards other than food.
Yeah. There is accident. The fourth group.
Okay.
Accident is, indoor or outdoor. Indoor because there is electricity, there is sharp objects, there is many things which are present in your home, and as a matter of fact, we can clarify or draw a diagram for your home and make what's called red spot or hot spot. These are dangerous. What kind of dangerous? For example, source of electricity. This is hazard. But if they are above the floor with sufficient distance, so the probability of exposure to such a small or short boy is almost nil.
Yes.
So accident also outdoor because every time you will see all people are outside their homes. I don't know where they are going to or what they are doing in this street. Yes. You found the street all the time in the work hours or whatever. They are very crowded. Yes. So the people are going there and there, and accidents are especially with this mad driving habits in our city. Yes. The fifth group, I think this has come to your interest.
Okay, before the fifth group, let me, Dr. Mustafa, we are going to have a break and come back to continue with Dr. Mustafa Ragab, Professor of Environmental Medicine, about the family and crisis. So we'll have a break. Okay.
You are never alone. You are never alone.
Why righteous companions? It is Islam that given us the sense of dignity. I love all of them in a way that you cannot imagine. That Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anh would say something and the Quran would come down matching what he said. والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين اتبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه. Just compare what you did for Islam with just one of them.
Dear viewers, Hoda programs can be watched in the English section of the in-flight entertainment directory on board all Saudi airline flights, domestic and international. Sit back, relax and enjoy watching Hoda's entertaining and enlightening shows on your trip. Hoda wishes you a safe and successful journey. Hoda, a light in every home.
You are never alone. You are never alone.
Welcome back, Family Issues, our episode about family crisis. But let me first remind you with our telephone numbers to call us. We're waiting for your calls. It's 002-023-8555, 248 and 249. And our email is familyissues@huda.tv. Back again with Dr. Mustafa. We're speaking about the family crisis, the fifth type of groups of hazards and risks, please.
This group is almost brand new.
Really?
And since they discovered it, they expanded and almost overcovered the other groups.
Yeah.
This is what we call socio-economic group or psychosocial group. I think you are interested in this group.
That's my most interesting part, yes.
There is a lot of problems which are floating on the surface now in the family relationship, and like violence.
Violence,
okay. This almost we can touch it in the street, in home.
Especially
they
nowadays.
Are very aggressive,
yes.
So the violence is some sort, even woman violence, children violence, abuse.
Yes,
child
abuse by all types.
Mm-hmm. Also, there is other big problems which is called addiction.
Addiction, okay.
Addiction, not only to opiate or drug or something like that, but there is a lot of addiction has happened in the family, such as computer addiction.
Yeah, that's very common.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So our youth, we used to play football, and we built we are running and built our bodies by this sports. But now our
just a minute. We have a call from Amina. Okay, so I think we lost the call again. Sorry, I'm sorry for interruption.
Okay. So our youth now are playing football by their fingers.
Yes,
that's their body belt or something like that. So addiction is
what
one.
What are types of dangers that are due to contacting the net and the Facebook and the computer and video games that you're speaking about? All day long, as you have said, faced with the screens and waves?
As a matter of fact, as the waves, there is a lot of protection now.
Yeah, okay.
Exposure to low frequency
The
electromagnetic field or
part.
something like that. Yes, it's harmful, but now what's going more than there is some damaging occur not in front of the screen itself because
Yes.
it is protected.
Okay.
But unfortunately, exposure coming from the back of it's not protected. So
This is the physical hazard.
yeah. Physical
What
exposure.
about the personality damage? Is there a personality damage from this?
Of course, the
Our
TV
children, yes.
are breeding our children. They give them their morals and something like that. We are
Yes.
not anymore giving the morality in the
Yes.
family.
I mean also the games, you are speaking all the time. My son is in front of the laptop, for example, watching games and playing by his fingers, as you have said, football and so on. Is this hazardous to the personality of my child?
Of course.
But by many means. But what means?
They killed the creativity of the mind,
Yes.
thinking. It's also a reflex reaction. Reflex is a sort of action of the animals, all low classes. But
Yeah.
we have to initiate something. But to play something is very tedious, routinely.
Yeah.
It creates nothing in your personality.
Yeah.
Especially, there is other, of course, sites which are very harmful to our children, our
Yes,
teens.
yes.
So, of course, they saw a lot of things, and that explain that kind of aggression about female in the street and something like that.
Okay, from this point, I want to start how to repair such a problem. As you have said, our children are exposed to sites that are dangerous and so on. We are going to speak, if you please, about the management and the treatment of all types
We'll start from the bottom or from the top.
As you like. I mean, no, I'm just trying to solve. We spoke about the problem, so as you like, but I want to start from whatever type of risk, how to deal with it, how to manage this.
This social problem should be dealt within the family morality.
Yes.
We should create, family are gathered together speaking about their dreams, their behavior, their problems, how to solve them. They are one unit.
Yeah.
They are all, when we were children, we were eating breakfast, lunch, dinner.
So easily.
Together.
Together.
But now
Together, yes.
everyone take his dish and stand
Alone.
in front of. So there is no
Yes,
such a discussion.
yes,
Everyone
yes.
has his own ideas, his own moralities. So this is a segregation in the family.
Segregation, yes, yes.
If we can regain this again,
That's
this is very
what
good.
I need. Yes.
The other thing which is very important is the religious.
Yes.
There is something more than what we see from you. There is God.
Yeah.
God is looking for you. This create.
But this is very deficient in our children and our community nowadays. As you have said, time, there is no time. What
you
do you advise? What's your
If you
advice?
want to manage, this is the way.
Yes.
Is it difficult or not? Or everyone is caring about
Busy.
hearing his leaving for
Yes.
every time.
Yes.
So this is problem family as
We
well.
have then to stop this.
We have
We have to,
as much as we can.
as much as we can, to be reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah.
We start about the communication or the communicable. This is very important to know the way of transmission of such hazards between us.
Yeah.
Is it by such a touch? For example, scabies, which we mentioned. It's one of the diseases which is called family disease.
Yeah.
Like TB,
Because
family
it's
disease.
transmitted.
It is, it makes the family distracted. It distracts the family. They're afraid. This man has scabies.
Yeah.
Because in the movies, they so
All the time itching and-
once you touch him,
You are infected.
once you're infected, you're always infected.
Yeah.
But this is not true because it needs long and close contact.
Really?
Yeah, sure. This insect, it is invisible. It's very tiny.
Yeah. Yeah.
It creeps. It takes a long time to reach from one to other, so it needs to sleep in
contact.
the same bed
or
for
bed sheets.
hours.
Yeah.
to create, to travel such. So you have to know, not just shake the hand, it will infect you. No.
This is very important because so many people have this misconception.
As a matter of fact, it is very easy, but the name itself
makes you afraid. Yes.
So if a woman come complaining that her child is itching, so if you told her he has scabies, she will cry. But you think, okay, it's hypersensitivity, sensitivity to something. Oh, this is good,
right.
but not scabies.
But not scabies.
I hope to be scabies because scabies are within 3 days.
3 days, yes.
But hypersensitivity,
all life, I think. All
so
life,
this impression is AIDS, for example.
Yeah.
This as a hazard, but as a risk. AIDS is very severe. It's deadly.
Yeah.
But how can you infect you, or how can you infect me? If we eat together, will I get your AIDS? No. Cancer, the same. So we have to differentiate.
Mustafa, you remind me by this that so many people are ignorant about ways of public health and healthy habits and bad health
That's
habits.
what I mentioned from the
beginning. What can we do in this case? How to improve the
health
habits?
education?
Health education.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And
I'm as a father or a mother. How can I transmit this to my children by health education?
He should do the way of infection control.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we find a very heavy investigation of what you call ichthyosis.
Yeah.
This is very small
parasite, I think.
Worm. It looks like a mesh, you know.
Yeah.
This old cheese.
Yeah.
Worm.
Yes.
It's living in the intestine.
Yeah.
And this migrate in the evening and lay their eggs, and these eggs made the child scratch, and they get these eggs under their nails and transmit it to whole family.
Wow.
So when the woman or the mother saw these worms, and when she complained to the doctor, he gave the child treatment, but he has to treat all the families, because all of you have such worm, but you don't feel it. You know,
really? Yeah.
In scabies also the same.
In the whole family members,
all of the members have. So treatment should be massive. Should be on the
whole family members.
The whole family.
Okay.
Even if they are not complaining, because you know, scabies can be transmitted, but without the child itself, because his skin is very soft,
so he feels it.
So he feels it, and these papules are
this means that the others are potentially
but we don't feel it.
Okay.
Maybe. So this we have to know, transmission, and how to make a massive facing of such a complaint.
Yeah.
Pollution of water and of air and of things, we have to consider, as a matter of fact, not in this only, but there is a lot of management that deal with changing of lifestyle.
Yes, that's a good word. Changing lifestyle.
Lifestyle change can avoid us from many diseases. When a woman, for example, get to me with her child suffering from recurrent chest infection.
Excuse me, I have Omar from Nigeria now on telephone. How are you, Omar? Assalamu alaikum. Omar, I think we lost Omar again. Sorry, Dr. Mustafa, please.
Okay.
About pollution, how to deal with pollution or pollution hazards. This is what you have been speaking about?
I don't remember exactly what
I'm interested in knowing what to be done about accidents outdoors, outdoor accidents for children. Are there any plans to be done, or policies or advices to the father or the children themselves?
Children should not be alone in the outdoor, and they should know the rules of the legitimate role in controlling where he can pass the street or cross the street, and how. But anyhow, we have to stick to the regulation.
Yeah,
that's very important to avoid such, and we don't have to get outdoor except if we are severely indicated. So don't have to go just to run in the street like that. So this is a probability will be less, of course.
Of course. I'm I'm really proud of speaking to you, Dr. Mustafa, and it's a very interesting talk, but I'm afraid that our time is getting out of our hands. Sorry. So, but of course we are going to be together in so many other series, inshallah, because your talk is very interesting. But let me tell our viewers that we are now on air in Family Issues again, and I want to remind you that I wish that you can call us on telephone. You know, this program is every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. on air. So every Wednesday we are ready to hear you in our series, and every day you can send us your emails. And I remind you with the email again, our email is familyissues, one word, familyissues @huda.tv. I want to thank so much our eminent guest, Professor Dr. Mustafa Ragab. He is the Community and Environmental Medicine Professor, and he is the ex-head of Environmental Medical Studies Department in the Institute of Environmental Studies in Ain Shams University, and the General Manager of the Unit of Health and Environmental Health Assessment in Ain Shams University. We were proud to meet you, and it was a very rich and nice talk about, but very short in my to my mind, about family and crisis intervention. So we are grateful to your attendance, and we want to have a promise from you to attend us again. And as I said, we want to meet you in the other series and other episodes of our Family Issues program. And anyone who wants to suggest anything to be added in the episodes, please, he is more than welcome. And I think that any problem that might face you, you are going to find us with you. Thank you again, and we'll meet you next week on Friday. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You are never alone. You are never alone. Through sorrow and through grief, through happiness and peace, you are never alone. So now, as you long for your past, prepare for your future, but knowing nothing's gonna last. You see, this life is but a road, a straight and narrow path to our final abode. So travel well, O Muslim, and paradise will be your home. And always remember that you are never alone.